My name is Adam Grayson. I live in Lakewood, Michigan, on the edge of a quiet lake. From the road, our subdivision looks perfect. I work as a civil engineer. My job sounds simple: make lines match reality. Boundaries, drainage, load paths. Build where the law says, not where someone wishes. That morning felt ordinary. 6 a.m., pale light over the water, coffee steam lifting into cold air on my porch. I opened my mailbox and saw it. Cream envelope. Gold logo. Lakewood Lake Authority across the top. The paper felt heavier than regular mail, like it wanted to outrank everything else inside the box. I didn't open it yet. I balanced it on my fingertips, turned it toward the light, checked the postmark, checked the return address. Paper whispers before ink speaks. I took out my phone and started recording. Slow pan over the envelope. Date and time in the corner. Morning birds loud in the background. My voice low. First letter, I said. Let's see who thinks they own what. At the kitchen table, I slid a knife under the flap. The blade hissed through glue. The smell of toner rose as the page unfolded. Notice of noncompliance, the header screamed. They accused me of refusing membership in the Lakewood Lake Authority. They listed benefits like a sales brochure. Then they listed consequences like a threat board. Failure to join, they claimed, triggered escalating assessments. $250. Then $600. Then $1,200. Then lien. Then collection procedures. There was no citation to state statute. Just a paragraph in their bylaws, written by people who liked authority more than accuracy. I read it twice. My pulse stayed steady. Anger can wait. Facts cannot. I walked to my office, a small room facing the water. I pulled the original purchase file from the cabinet. Dust lifted in a silver line through the sunlight. My deed came out first. Clear legal description, bearings and distances stacked like code. I traced them with my finger. Then I pulled the subdivision plat recorded when this place was built in 2005. Stiff paper, surveyor seal, county stamp, signatures. This was the ground truth when I bought. I laid the new letter beside it. Two different worlds. One legal, one imagined. I logged into the county's online record system. Screen glow washed the room in blue. I typed the subdivision name and pulled every recorded plat and amendment. That was when the first crack appeared. There was a corrected plat filed in 2017. Same subdivision, same name, same lots. Different geometry. Lot lines shifted, lake access adjusted, easements widened in some places and erased in others. My parcel caught my eye. On the original plat, my boundaries stopped near the natural contour at the water. On the corrected version, the line pulled back inland several meters. A shaded strip appeared between my land and the lake. They had labeled it Common Lakefront Easement, LLA Control. I zoomed in, checked the bearings, compared both versions line by line. This wasn't a typographical adjustment. This was a land grab disguised as clarification. I read the signatures on the corrected plat. Hillshore Development Company. Lakewood Lake Authority, by its president, Laura Kane. County official Gregory Mills authorizing the recordation. There was no consent form for me anywhere in the file. I pushed back from the desk and looked out the window. The lake lay flat and silver. Ducks moved in a slow V, neighbors walked dogs along the private road, waving like everything here was simple. When lines move on paper, something real will move later. I grabbed my field notebook, bright yellow cover scarred from job sites. I walked down to the waterline, boots crunching over gravel, cold air leaking through my jacket. I found the nearest survey pin at the side boundary. A rusted metal rod set years ago. My boot scraped away dirt. I clipped a tape measure to it and walked toward the lake, counting off the distance from the deed. The pin was in the right place. The distance matched the original plat, not the corrected one. Somebody got creative, I muttered. I filmed the pin, the tape, the water beyond. I narrated quietly, calling out numbers, reference points, angles. The kind of dull detail that becomes crucial when truth needs a spine. Back inside, I scanned both plats and overlaid them on my drafting software. Red for the original, blue for the corrected. The whole lakefront had been redrawn, shifting control under the HOA. Control meant assessment power. Assessment power meant leverage. I dug deeper. Meeting minutes from the HOA website mentioned a clarification of access rights 1 year before the corrected plat. No notice to non-member owners. No ballot. Just a short paragraph buried between landscaping updates and pool hours. I checked the vendor list. Ironclad Security Company handled gate cameras and patrols. State corporate records showed the owner, Elias Kane. Laura's cousin. Money moved in a circle. Board to vendor, vendor to family. The air in the room felt heavier, but my voice stayed level. This isn't about grass, I said into the phone camera. This is about title. I printed copies of every document and slid them into a fresh binder. Tabbed sections, deeds, plats, minutes, vendors, statutes. Each tab a future exhibit. The last section remained empty. I labeled it witnesses. The sun was higher when I finally sat back down. A boat engine hummed somewhere across the lake. Children laughed near the dock, unaware anything was wrong. Life moved on the surface while paperwork twisted underneath. I took one long breath, then another. No panic. Just direction. They expected me to show up at a meeting and argue feelings. I intended to show up with records. I held the HOA letter up again, then set it on top of the binder. The camera was still rolling on the desk, red light steady. That's when I started recording everything. I thought silence would starve their appetite. It fed it. I walked the subdivision loop at 7:18 a.m. Sprinklers ticked in perfect intervals. HOA cameras blinked red dots from stone pillars, humming on low voltage lines. Their first move to scare me came fast. April 2nd, 2025, 9:41, patrol SUV pulled beside me. Tires grumbled on damp asphalt. Driver, Elias Kane, sunglasses, clipboard, power posture. He said, membership status. No LO. I kept my hands in my jacket pockets. Me, I'm not on your roster. Kane, you will be. He drove off at 9:43. 2 minutes. Point made. Evidence beat 1, threat logged before breakfast. April 5th, 2025, 8:02, doorbell rang again. HOA President Laura Kane smiled too wide. Laura, it's easier inside. Me, easier than what? Laura, attention. Her perfume cut the archive dust smell in the air. She slid a contract across my doorstep. Lake membership agreement, signature required. Her rings clicked when she tapped the clause. Heavy clause. Light legality. Me, this adds obligation, not benefit. Laura, community safety isn't optional. Me, statutes are. She didn't answer. She stepped back 6 inches. Pressure is a proximity sport. Beat 2, cops arrived. April 5th, 2025, 8:09, Cedar County Sheriff's Department cruiser rolled in. Gravel popped as brakes compressed. Deputy Marshal Reed got out, boots steady. Reed, no trespass call, ma'am. Laura, he won't sign. Reed, not a crime. He glanced at my measuring tape still clipped to my belt. Reed, you expecting a build? Me, a correction. He nodded once. Engineers speak in revisions. Cruiser left at 8:11. No arrest, no citation, just optics. Pressure beat 3, rumors launched seconds after sirens faded. Subdivision chat exploded like a press release. 9:12, lake access privilege revoked for non-members. 9:14, some owners challenge safety funding. 9:17, board considering enforcement. Soft invasion beat, crafted to shape narrative, not policy. I pulled screenshots, scrolled fast. The chat log rolled under my thumb like witness testimony without oath. My neighbor Sarah Lou met me by the lake at 11:06. Her flip-flops tapped dock wood, hollow, honest sound. Sarah, they targeting you? Me, they rewrite by character, not clause. She looked toward the gates, then back toward me. Sarah, you alone on this? Me, alone doesn't mean unequipped. She smirked, tiny grin, neighbor solidarity low volume beat. Sarah, just don't lose the street piece. The street piece was already gone. Now it was administrative trench warfare. Pressure beat 4, false fines. April 7th, 2025, 7:22, certified mail again. New envelope. No gold this time. Red ink warnings. Fountain diesel coughed behind my house as I opened it. Assessment notice, $1,850 due. No explanation. No trigger. No cure. Just numbers delivered like verdict paragraph footnote. Me, to camera invoices aren't evidence. Errors aren't random after redraws. Postmark matters more than posture. I paid nothing. Payment refusal was my audit flag. Pressure beat 5, smear posters. April 9th, 2025, 1851, someone taped rule breaker posters at the community notice board. Tape squeaked as I pulled one off, filmed it, heard adhesive protest. My voice stayed level, low, but rising by degrees. Me, to camera. Posters fade in rain. Records outlive weather. Compliance can't overwrite ownership. Next beat hit harder than paper. My driveway cracked under tire pressure at 3:14 a.m. Security trucks idled outside like mechanical heartbeats, unauthorized ballast for intimidation. Floodlights bloomed across my lawn at 3:16 a.m. Neighbors opened curtains. Phones lifted. No dialogue beats, just flash-cut tension. My driveway chips shimmered like static under glare. I stepped outside, calm but documented. Me, turn them off. Security lead, presidential order. Me, not statutory authority. Lead stepped back. Light dimmed at 3:18. Beat lingers in heavy silence, moments where law feels elastic to those who don't own it. Pressure beat 6, personal calls. April 12th, 2025, 12:27, unknown ID call. Collection specialist tone, rehearsed, clipped. Voice, we escalate your dues if non-participation continues. Me, you can't bill non-members. Voice, board discretion. Me, that's not jurisdiction. Call lasted 54 seconds. Every 54-second call is an ego confession when statutes read longer. I checked municipal code at my desk again. Township code doesn't wobble. HOA boards do. HOA boards wobble loudest when challenged calmly. My attorney Daniel Park texted at April 19th, 2025, 16:12. Snippet popped in message bubble. Park, bring the binder. They filed more than bylaws today. Me, coordinates don't bluff. His reply was one word. Park, true. We met at his office. Brick walls, stacked case law books, coffee smell replaced diesel. Park, they drew easement expansion without vote. Me, they drew profit without notice. Park, judge likes math, emails, sharp exhibits. Me, I like process. Park, then we file. Pressure beat 7, contract proof arrives. April 21st, 2025, 1902, Pre-Avos drops a file. Margins highlighted like crime scene tape. Maintenance vendor overcharges, deleted offsets, permit approval gap, board cousin ownership, easement rights overwritten without consent. Not one repeated phrase in the file. All unique charges. All lethal when sequenced. I scrolled the report quietly. The swish sound of pages turning like gurney wheels for corrupt overconfidence. I looked back at the camera steady on my desk. It had been running for 19 minutes. 19 minutes of calm documentation becomes 90 minutes of vindication later. I whispered one last structural calculation line for the audience before I closed the binder. Now the math had a witness, and a license to speak. I learned early, pressure is leverage when cataloged. Night rain left thin rivers on the street. Lake reflected sodium lamps like trembling beacons. I clicked record at May 1st, 2025, 7:03. Numbers calm. Optics loud. My voice steady, footage rolling. I unlocked the binder. 14 tabs now. Each tab a promise. Reversal beat 1, the Plat engineer wasn't their man. It was me. I pulled both Plat versions into QGIS. No stylized color choices. Just overlay discipline. The drift hit first. A jagged gap. 6.2 meters. Boundary logic rewritten without consent. I filmed the discrepancy like a cold crime scene. Morning lawnmowers wheezed faint mid-cut somewhere down the loop. They installed a new gate sensor without permit reference alignment. Gate buzzed like unauthorized budget electricity. I drove to the county planning annex at 10:11. My turn signals clicked like audit metronomes. Inside, county glass smelled like bleach and civic bureaucracy. County official Gregory Mills sat behind a stack of permit logs. Mills, you the owner disputing assessments? Me, no, I'm the owner disputing geometry. Mills, that's civil, not criminal. Me, so is trespass until intent surfaces. He didn't smile. He exhaled once. Pressure shift. Emotional beat 2, pace resets. Control initiates evidence cadence. I requested all contract awards 2016 to 2020. Pages arrived fast in archive sleeves. Archive sleeves smell like cardboard memory and deferred accountability. One file stood louder than others. Ironclad security payment loop signed 2028 on header date, forecast billing before contract start. The contract wasn't valid for non-member billing. But the payments were very real. I filmed the cousin connection printout from state corporate registry. Vendor owner Elias, relation to Laura, board budget alignment overlap. 3 hands, I whispered into the mic 1 street. Reversal beat 3, selective citations. May 3, 2025, 11:27, Laura issued citations to houses questioning basin depth compliance. Same day, Lake crews skipped 67 delinquent violations lacking jurisdiction basis. This isn't pattern blindness. This is targeting calculus. I gathered neighbor recordings, diesel coughs, siren halos, violation overlays, all timestamp burned into metadata. 52 clips. No duplicates. Each unique. I met attorney Daniel Tran at May 4, 2025, 15:02. His office smelled like cedar and printed statutes. Park no, Daniel, you kept footage? Me, I kept continuity. Daniel, good. Judges like continuity. Me, HOA likes spectacle. Daniel, then we invert the stage. Pressure flips when stage directions change hands. We drafted claims and zoning jurisdiction and inserted coordinates as spine for argument. Reversal beat 4, emails recovered from subpoena motion. Developer thread shows, legacy overlays removed for fee control expansion. Permit approval chain forwarded with subject, Lake common boundary update, discretionary review cycle. No statutory reference, no ballot, no notice. Intent matters more than bylaws. I sent into camera at May 6, 2025, 9:18. You redrew the lake. You invoiced non-members. You forged authority. Let's show it. I uploaded the first reversal clip. The upload progress bar ticked like a vindication countdown. Neighbors flooded my inbox with silent support emojis. No advice. Just presence. Reversal beat 5, public record replies. Laura called me at May 7, 2025, 12:41. Mic still rolling. Laura, remove footage. Me, Data isn't removed by demand. Laura, you defaming board. Me, you deformed cadastral lines first. Silence held for 6 seconds. 6 seconds is long in first-person format. Laura, we arbitrate. Me, courts arbitrate. Call ends at 12:43. 2 minutes. Optics inverted. Reversal beat 6, budget spike exposed by state audit algorithm logs. I compared ironclad invoice margins against Bureau of Labor Statistics market rate multipliers. A bid gap larger than 20% requires cure window statutory oversight. The gap was 91%. Meet a camera, margins are motive voices. 91% is intent wearing disguise. Disguises crack under cross-reference math. Reversal beat 7, surveyor testimony prepared. I reached out to surveyor Helen Marlowe. She texts one line. Helen, coordinates don't drift without force. Force. Intent. Collusion. Jurisdiction theft. Reversal beat 8, lawsuit filed. May 10, 2025, 8:22, filed suit at the Michigan Circuit Court. Case title, Grayson vs. Lakewood Lake Authority, Plat, Permit, Payments. My camera narration over courthouse steps stayed calm. You can't lien what you can't bill. You can't bill what you don't govern. You don't govern lines you redrew alone. No raised voice, just scaffold logic. Reversal beat 9, neighbor engagement shifts. Neighbors sat on porches recording their own violations now. HOA control optics fracture community trust quietly but fast. Trust is built by transparent documentation, not recruitment threats. Reversal beat 10, judge assigns injunction hearing date for June 17, 2025. My attorney texts again. Daniel, bring overlays, margins, testimony. Me, I'll bring sequence. Reversal beat 11, video thumbnails drafted but no color assigned. Color restricts discipline. Evidence doesn't need style palettes. Reversal beat 12, the lake access sign's laser-etched text changed last year illegally. I panned the sign at May 18, 2025, 1832. LLA Lake Access, members only. I touched the metal letters. Letters felt new. Privilege carved without jurisdiction. Reversal beat 13, community knowledge packages shared. Neighbors uploaded their own footage to Nextdoor. Avoid duplicates. No repeated lines. Each recording unique. Reversal beat 14, state statute cross-reference packet uploaded to legal counsel. I narrated quietly one last time before fade out. Authority isn't cosplay. Due process isn't perfume. Math doesn't fear gavel-tapping HOA fingers. I close the chapter here, binder heavy beside me. Paper trails trap louder than sirens. Michigan, United States was quiet in June. The courthouse was not. I stepped inside at 8:37 a.m. Marble echoed soft. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. A bailiff locked the wooden gate behind us. Click. Sound of finality. This was no HOA theater now. Attorney Daniel Tran adjusted his tie. File case heavy in hand. Reversal beat 1, the judge entered. Judge Eleanor Marlowe didn't need a gavel. Her heels announced jurisdiction. She sat. No theatrics. One blink. Analytical mode engaged. Marlowe, case Grayson vs. Lakewood Lake Authority will begin. My heart stayed low. Calm. Pressure is for later arcs. Bailiff, voice monotone. Bailiff, all phones to silent mode. Phones clicked silent simultaneously like withheld breath. Discovery beat 2, evidence roll. Hearing clerk dimmed lights at 8:42 a.m. Projector fan coughed. Screen blue-white bloom. I stood. 1 foot forward. Heavy pause. Judge, plaintiff may present. I placed the binder on oak table. Palm flat. Page 1 smell hit the air, archive dust disturbed. Paper smells like history forced open. Beat 3, overlay evidence geometry. I displayed Plat overlay on screen using GIS coordinates. No color choices here. Pure technical reversal. Me, original 2005 Plat matches my deed. Me, 2017 corrected Plat shifts my boundaries 6.2 meters inland. Me, no notice. No vote. No consent. Weight of silence dropped heavy after each line. Surveyor Helen Marlowe, Laura's lawyer, Victor Hale rose. His papers were fewer, posture louder. Hale, the 2017 Plat was administrative correction. Me, corrections require notice. Hale, board discretion used. Me, discretion isn't statute. Hale, no objection at filing. Me, no notice at filing. Neighbors, nervous rustle, filled courtroom fringe silence. Emotional beat 4, discovery email evidence. I produced emails retrieved under subpoena, Exhibit 4C. One dated June 14, 2017, 11:27 p.m. with subject. Legacy boundary offsets deleted ahead of board renewal. Mills sent it to Elias. Elias forwarded to Laura. 3 links. 1 chain. Judge inhaled softly at 8:58 a.m. Beat 5, contract margin invoice evidence. I placed the contract margins on screen, Exhibit 4F. Gate security contract awarded at 91% above market. Margin this high triggers statutory review, cure window, owner consent. Towering numbers expose arrogance better than perfume rhetoric. Judge tapped the oak at 9:04 a.m. Not a gavel. Table acknowledgement. Beat 6, testimony cue. Judge, we call county official Mills. Gregory Mills stepped forward. No smile. No perfume. Civic bureaucratic glass memory. Judge, did you notify non-HOA landowners of correction? Mills, no. Judge, did correction exceed deviation threshold? Mills, yes. Judge, did vendor Elias hold financial relation to board? Silence. 6 seconds. His papers shuffle like withheld breath. Mills, yes. Emotional beat 7, neighbor sample testimony roll. Neighbors filed short statements, 9 unique owners. No duplicates. Each concise. No theme repeat. Judge reviewed them quietly for 92 seconds. 92 seconds is long for evidence breathing. Beat 8, judge ruling. Judge Eleanor Marlowe. Courthouse steps were warm at sunset. June air smelled like lake reeds and gasoline from late commuters. I hit record at 18:12 p.m. Not for evidence. Foreclosure. My street was mine again, legally acknowledged earlier that morning. Vindication didn't need volume. Peace does. The gates of the subdivision still worked. Their tone changed. Too polite now. Too cautious. Reimbursement checks arrived by mail at June 20, 2025, 7:44 a.m. Thin envelopes. County stamp. No threats. No red ink. My neighbor Sarah Lou walked beside me at 8:11 a.m. along the Lake Contour Trail. Sarah, you recalibrated the boundaries? Me, county confirmed the 2005 bearings. Sarah, board was loud for years. Me, noise isn't statute. She laughed softly, honest volume, not theatrical stage laugh. HOA President Laura had resigned by June 22, 2025, 6:12 a.m. She posted a one-line farewell. No glamour. No gavel emojis. Just text. Laura's resignation post. I served. I stepped down. Process works better than pride. No smile. No emotional tremor. No pressure attempting a rebuttal. Legacy beat 2, community review cycle resets. County assigned reviewer Dr. Helen Marlowe to oversee geometry corrections, budget audits, and conflict disclosures. She approached me near the gate at 11:22 a.m. with field boots and no theatrics, voice crisp like county archived code. Helen, non-members are shielded by statute, not boards. Me, they wrote fictional authority dialect. Helen, and you inverted optics with coordinates first. Me, process defends before narrative snaps. She nodded once. Engineers speak in nods too. Legacy Beat 3, Policy Rewrite Hearing. Township required HOA rules to be rewritten under municipal footer compliance and seller disclosures for vendors holding relations to board signers. HOA Board held a live-streamed meeting at July 1, 2025, 17:44 p.m. I watched it through my dashcam monitor. Board member Tarek Osman. TARE, bylaws will now cite statute references. Board member Alina Cross. Alina, vendor conflicts must be disclosed. Board member Roxy Patel. Roxy, deviation thresholds must include cure cycles. Judge's quote inserted as header in meeting feed. Paper must obey math, not posture. Emotional Beat 4, neighbors reacted faster than board members expected their review loops would ever invite. Porch comments scrolled like a preview sequence. Keep surveying. Margins reveal motive. No one confuses bylaws with statute again. Street piece rebuilt without liens or threats. Trust flows like water, low volume, persistent, clear, constant. Legacy Beat 5, street rebuild sequence. Road crews arrived at July 11, 2025, 6:18 a.m. Diesel trucks hummed same mechanical baseline but with authorized permits. Gravel laid carefully. Lines drawn right. Curbs placed true. Drainage flowed toward legal datum. Air rippled faint heat waves over the lake, refracting sunlight like moral satisfaction beats. I walked past survey pins placed correctly again, cold steel rods now functional as markers, not accusations. Legacy Beat 7, vendor conflict disclosed. Board cousin owner Elias Kane sold Ironclad Security Co. earlier that month under municipal footer compliance orders. His trucks left town at July 19, 2025, 3:11 a.m. Tires hummed quietly exiting. Not hostile. Not celebratory. Just deferring to process. Legacy Beat 8, county approval stamped again. Town signage updated. Lake access, public contour path. No membership required. Metal letters laser etched correctly. Legal doctrine encoded quietly into sign lettering. I stood near the sign at August 2, 2025, 19:22 p.m., camera steady on me. Bricks become exhibits when jurisdictions wobble, I said. Timestamps quiet gavel obsession faster than objections. My neighbor Haruto Kane approached with camera-shy quiet boots. Haruto, you think it changed the neighborhood? Me, it moved our axis. Haruto, axis toward process or peace? Me, peace arrives only after process. He nodded once. His dog flicked tail quietly near survey pin. Legacy Beat 9, personal arc relief. The recounting is not for red ink villains or gavel optics. It is for porch maps, legal footers, quiet math, and how vindication arrives calmly. Legacy Beat 10, I walked toward the lake again at sunset. Lake splash soft. Reeds whistle faint when wind passes. Diesel generator hums baseline mechanical tone behind fountain that now works with permits. Legacy Beat 12, audience engagement cue. I shift gaze to camera, direct but calm. Have you seen a street redrawn without your consent? Have you smelled gasoline before a chain of title break? Have envelopes tried cosplay authority language? Tell me your arc. Justice loads quietly before uploads progress. Legacy Beat 13, bank reconciliations, deed corrections, vendor conflict disclosures, township engineering permits, all cleaned and archived under non-repeated phrasing lines. No repeated phrases. No echo. Just cadence, quiet, process, jurisdiction course corrected. My community wasn't rebuilt by HOA optics. It was rebuilt by diagrams, filings, Geometry, neighbor porch support, and municipal oversight correction loops. Legacy beat 14, final words. I say it slow. Calm. Satisfaction coded into even breaths. Have you ever faced a crooked HOA or cracked system? Drop your story. And remember, keep your receipts.